So hello to all. My name is Sakari Lehtonen, and I'm a software developer, Bachelor of Automation Engineering, and a geometry enthusiast. And for the past 1.5 years, I've been dedicating my time to developing software related to recursive geometry. So this week is going to be more of the effects of recursive geometry or natural geometry, and less of the actual application now. But so at first, I'm going to be speaking a little bit about what is natural or sacred geometry, as it is also called. Then I'm going to be demoing geocone.net, an interactive recursive geometry generator that I have been developing over the past 3 years that runs in a browser. During that development, I've noticed interesting effects coming from creating that natural geometry. So I will be speaking a little about that, how creating natural geometry can affect our state of consciousness or our level of awareness. It's really interesting, and that's the reason I'm actually doing this promotion and putting this forward. I want to share this experience that I have felt and other users of Geocone have felt. And this is what is going to be more in the future, the VR experience with natural geometry. It's something totally new that is only now enabled by the existence of Oculus Rift. It then enables this kind of totally new experiences, not traditional games or traditional movies or something. So this is something you can try it out after these sessions, maybe over there or somewhere where I can sit down. You can try it out for yourself and see how it works in virtual reality. But first, I'm going to begin by going over some basics of what is like natural geometry, what is recursive geometry in this context. In this context, by natural geometry, I mean geometry that can be found in the nature, that can be observed easily in the nature. Of course, there is geometry everywhere, but in certain constructs like flowers, trees, plants, snowflakes, you can see this kind of occurring themes in the geometry that can be replicated with technology pretty simply, at least the basics of those models. And also this kind of geometry has been traditionally called in certain contexts sacred geometry, because this kind of rules have been used in buildings of sacred meaning, like churches, pyramids, different temples, and the Stonehenge. They have this kind of rules within their construction that is also like natural geometry, connection with the nature. And there are some pretty simple constructional rules that we can replicate easily, like observing the golden ratio in nature in different places, like in how a tree distributes its energy. It goes according with the golden ratio. How a snowflake, how the ice is freezing, the strength that the ice freezes, it goes with the golden ratio. According to the golden ratio. One good example, you can see the numbers there, but anyway, one good example is how a tree grows its nodes, its branches. These all go according to the Fibonacci series, which is also following the golden ratio, or the phi, or the 1.618 approximation. And also in seashells, flowers, how a pine grows more cones, pines, whatever. You can see this model reoccurring, and we can pretty easily make a math model out of that. It's already been done. It's simplified beyond time, but we have kind of forgotten why we use this kind of math and geometry, and why is it here? Like, why not use it in applications and so on? And also, of course, when something is in nature, it is of course in us. Like the same constructs that we can observe in the nature, we can also find inside our cellular structure, our DNA. Even the rules of creation, they follow some, at least we model the rules of creation based on geometry. Like the cellular level construct of carbon molecules, we see them as geometrical patterns. And why this is important is because something interesting can happen when you create this kind of structures. You can connect to your cellular level somehow. There happens changes in your state of consciousness and awareness when you do that. Or it is possible anyway. Here we can see a picture illustration of the DNA structure and the geometry within it. So that is the definition of natural geometry in this context. And the software I have developed, which you can generate this kind of geometry, is called geoconnect.net, like a geometry machine.net. It's an interactive recursive geometry generator that runs in your browser. So you can just go to that address and load it up there and start creating some nice geometry. And I was thinking about demoing this. Let's see if I can show you a quick demo so you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, here you can see the software running in a browser. By default, the software adds one basic geometrical formation on the screen. Everything in this software is based on these geometrical formations. They're simple polygon-based formations with different number of points connecting lines between them. That's it basically. And the user can modify these at free will. I have here the parameters for each of these formations. So you can see maybe here this has 6 number of points, and I can decrease it 5, it makes pentagon, 4 square, 3 a triangle, and so on. And also I can add recursion, which makes it fun. So if I increase the recursion depth level of this formation, you can see it starts to copy itself around the center formation like this. It copies it at every vertex point here, here, and here. And I can, of course, change the number of points at this point and see how it looks with a different configuration. And I can also change this, for example, the child radius ratio, which means that each of these children here, I'll put it to 3, so all of these children formations, their size is modified according to the ratio here. So if I put like the phi Calder ratio here, it creates this kind of a simplified flower maybe. You can see it, and I can increase the radius ratio again and see how it looks, even with more levels of recursion. And basically, this software allows you to do this interactively, see how these different shapes create interference. I can, of course, copy these with the C button, create a new copy, change the line color, for example, and see how, well, let's do it again. See how these two formations create interference patterns, or like this. That's already something. And of course, I can see how this thing looks like when animated. It creates this kind of nice formations and interference patterns. And from these, you can find new formations when these formations connect with each other. So that's a quick demo of the software. Let's continue with the speech. The reason I started developing this software was because I wanted to understand numbers and what do numbers represent, the symbols. We use numbers every day. We don't even know what do the symbols mean. We calculate our science computers, they work based on these numbers, and we don't even unnecessarily understand what do these quantities represent on a somehow deeper level. So I started playing around with these things from a very simple viewpoint. I just visualized simple polygonal formations, 2, 3, 5, for example, here. This is where I started from. And I noticed, yeah, it's kind of cool to play around with these. And then I added recursion to the equation. This started to create some very nice looking formation. Here you can see all the numbers from 2 to 10 and 3 different recursion levels and what kind of formations they create. And I had at this point software that I could do this kind of stuff interactively. And I noticed it's really fun somehow. Just playing around with the mouse and keyboard and playing around and seeing what I can find. I could find flowers, different nice geometries, pleasing to the eye formations. Here is a little bit different representation of 2, 3, and 4 made with GeoGone. There you can see how it starts to spread out when you add these circular formations, and it starts to create these natural-like looking formations. Here's another example of some basic shapes made with GeoGone. And as I said, I had some working code, and it was really fun to just play around with this. And I started noticing something funny when I did this. Whenever I would find new patterns from this empty slate, I would start to feel something in our brain, like a aha effect, like wow, this something was created out of nothing, out of geometry, and my brain somehow gave me like a reward for that creation and that experience is finding something new. I started noticing that the areas of my brain where I detect patterns, those were starting to somehow be more activated during this process. And it gave me a sense of good feeling and like this, yeah, I wanna continue this and share this to others so they could also feel this. And I put the software online, started to share it with some people in Facebook, Twitter, and so on. And I heard the same thing from some very early enthusiastic users, that they were feeling something, it was really fun for them, for these couple of users. So that rewarded me to continue developing this software forwards. I'm going to show some pictures that people have made with GeoGone now, so you can see more what kind of stuff you can make with it, and then continue. Here's a very simple but beautiful image, like a seed of life. If you know geometry, it's called a seed of life. Here's another almost like pulsating formation made with GeoGone. This one, when I made this, I had some crazy vivid lucid dreams after making this the whole night. Very interesting. Some more, I made this guy called Psyloper, this kind of matrix effect. Also these like digital flowers very much you can find these kind of formations in there. Some more made by a very enthusiastic user of Geogone called Cody Fukua. He has made some beautiful stuff with Geogone. Yes, he has like a snowflake formation created. And the funny thing was also that I could find abstract stuff in the geometry, like this. Maybe you can see a Buddha sitting there inside these 7-pointed stars. And it was really interesting to see out of code coming this kind of stuff. And one of my early users started creating this kind of. He could see these animals in the meshes of geometry, because by default Geogone has the golden ratio in its parameters. So it starts to create these lifelike formations. And he would see these skulls. You know, he has drawn over the mesh generated from geogone.net just by exporting it to Illustrator or whatever and painting over. So I could see the same thing also when I worked on this for long periods of time. I started like noticing very noticeable changes in my state of awareness while I was doing geometry for longer periods of time. Like I was feeling more concentrated, like my whole consciousness was being pulled towards one point. Like I could uber concentrate on something after doing a particular piece with Geogone. I could feel everything vibrating around me, and I was completely sober, so nothing funny there. But very interesting stuff that I didn't expect to experience through just creating geometry. I've had some very crazy, vivid lucid dreams after working whole nights with geometry, like something. Well, I won't go into that, but I have started to also to see things from a new angle. Creating this geometry has enabled my brain to create new connections within it somehow. And these shapes that I would have created in Geogone, after I closed my eyes, I would start to see them evolve inside my eyelids. You know, evolve from the picture I made to something totally different. Something like it was intelligent, some intelligence in these images somehow. It was really strange. I don't claim to say that I understand how it works, but very interesting. Here is a couple of experiences from other users also. Like, what's so interesting to me about this medium is that after using Geogone a couple of times, it has begun to enter my deeper consciousness in a really heavy way. This morning when I woke up after a vivid dream, I experienced a few moments of the most beautiful, unimaginable sacred geometries. Here's another user. When I first came across Geogone, I was truly blown away. I began by just clicking the random generator, and a few caught my attention as mimicking nature. Also, here's one user said that it also enhanced my guitar playing immensely, which was like, what? Anyway, I have speculated why this happens. It's not easy to explain because you have to feel it for yourself. This is why I'm doing this upcoming VR version of guided Geogone called Geometrify. But I have speculated why this happens. It's because new patterns start to form in our brains when we connect to this natural geometry. And also, one speculation is like a mirror neurons theory, where if an ape sees, if an ape picks up a stone and sees a stone, the same brain cells are activated within its brain. The same thing might happen with here, that if you look at some natural, holy, sacred geometry, that geometry will reflect in our cellular structures and start to modify our thinking even. It's something I don't understand at all. I'm trying to study more and more and see how it works. But this led me to find a better way. How could I share this feeling with others? Because Geogone, it's not so easy to use. It's an engineer's tool, so to speak. And this led to the development of Geometry, which happened through the existence of Oculus VR. In Geometry, the user enters another world made of geometry and sounds, where the only control is where the user is looking at a certain point. That affects the way you are looking at the visions and what you are seeing. And also, very important part is that you are creating that world through your focus. That is our vision for like Geometry. And let me tell you, virtual reality plus recursive natural geometry, it's immersive. It's like you're entering a whole new world. It's something abstract, yet it's natural. It's something that hasn't been possible before. And unfortunately, nobody can be told what this is. You have to experience it. So after these sessions, you can come out and test it with our Oculus Rift setup and see it for yourself. And we are building this technology with a custom geometry engine, OpenGL, C++, and hopefully shipping our working product in January 2015 when the consumer version of Oculus Rift is coming out. And that's basically it. Thank you. And please come test the tech demo, see it for yourself. It's something totally different. And of course, we are looking for help now. We're really going forward. So if you're interested in programming, graphics, and altered states of consciousness and human awareness, please contact us. Thank you.